Morning. Well, had some exciting end times videos these past few videos, and thought I'd talk a little bit about, because somebody asked me, they said, what are your favorite knives? You know, I'm a knife guy. Really like knives. A great deal. You know, but the thing is that I'm a bushcrafted survival style knife enthusiast, you know, but they gotta be good knives, you know. I don't never get junk knives and nothing on a whim or anything like that. Oh, speaking of, I gotta pull out the one knife that, for me, it's like a collectible. Now, I'm not into knife collecting. Okay, I'm not into knife collecting. But this is the second time that I've had this knife. I had it years ago, and somebody liked it more than I did, I guess. And they swiped it out. Of course, I don't know who swiped it, but somebody swiped it. But mine was the all-black military one. And it was an excellent knife. Anyway, so I just got a small knife strapped to the outside of this sheath. Okay, using a couple of black rubber. I've got a black rubber band on here, and I got a piece of a black inner tube on here, a rubber inner tube. Anyway, this is the Charles Brewer Carias knife, and back then it was just known as the Charles Brewer Survival Knife. And this is in the polished stainless steel blade version. Yeah, I've got a bucket load of knives here. This is like nothing compared to what some guys got. I've got some more knives other than this, but these are my favorites. And then I brought out the old genuine plum Boy Scout hatchet. Hatchet, not axe. An axe has a longer handle. These are hatchets. You know. Anyway, I restored this one. It has the fawn's foot handle. Okay, that's the shape. Looks like a fawn's foot. It's the original handle. You could still make out some of where it was stamped into the haft, where it said official Scout, Boy Scouts or something like that. Yeah. Anyway, I put a really nice convex edge on that thing. It's really sharp. It shaves hair, and but it's convex, so it's good for splitting small kindling and things like that. So I might take 2 or 3 videos on this, because you know I got quite a few knives here. Each of them have some kind of a little history to them. What did I do with that brewer? Oh, it's here. Hidden in the camouflage of other knives. So yeah, we'll talk about the brewer first, I think, just a little bit, because I, I did cover this knife before on the channel. But I really was heartbroken when my first brewer went missing, because I had carried that all over the place. That went with me to many places, and I started fires with it, and I shaved bits and pieces of bamboo with it, and you know, and the saw back on this is really nice. It's just like basically the Swiss Army knife. Uh, you know, a buddy of mine down in Central America said I should have a video with this knife, my Beck tracker knife, wilderness survival knife, and Swiss Army knife, comparing the saws, because they're also similar. And I think I probably will do that. Anyway, this knife has the hollow handle, and please don't confuse that with the junk knives with the hollow handle. This hollow handle is never coming off, I guarantee you. I put my other one through all kinds of stuff, and it never phased it. It never got loose, nothing. And batoning with it a bit, and you know, just an excellent knife. Of all of the hollow handle knives of the 1980s, this was definitely up there. You know, if it wasn't the top knife, it was in the top 3. You know, had the Buckmaster, that broke. Had a Jimmy Lyle, that broke. But the brewer didn't break. Didn't baby it either. So when I decided I really wanted another one, but they were kind of high priced. I paid a chunk for this one because it came with the harpoon, it came with the box, it came with the handbook. I know I paid more than $300 for this knife. I know that sounds insane, but you know, I like it. You know, it's kind of a seasonal knife though, because of it's all metal construction. It's aircraft aluminum and stainless steel, so therefore not the best for the winter time, but it was more or less designed for the jungle and arid environments, because you know, Mr. Brewer, Dr. Brewer I should say, lives in South America, you know, and he explored the jungles down there, and you know, so it's kind of a warm weather knife. But I like it. I would definitely use this in a emergency survival situation as well. Now, other interesting knives here. So, what else we got here? Got quite a few large knives and medium large. Okay, but I got a couple of smaller knives here. So, this one I'm going to show you. This is put out by Tops, but this particular knife is a Puko style, and the fella that designed this knife, his name is Goran, and he lives on the coast between or not the coast. He lives on the border of, I believe, Brazil and Colombia. And anyway, this is called the Tanimboca Puko. Now it comes with Tops's edge, which is, I'm sure it's a serviceable edge, but the original design calls for a Scandi Vex, so that's a cross between a Scandinavian grind and a convex grind. And so I reground the knife by hand, not using a machine. It was tough, but I got the Scandi Vex edge there, and it is nice. I have processed quite a number of animals with this. Doesn't require a whole lot of maintenance when you're using it. You know, it doesn't dull out real fast or anything. Just hit it on the strop a few times, boom, shaving sharp, back to what it needs to be. I did do a it has bow drill divot on both sides. I did do a bow drill video with this, you know. All you got to do is look at some of the first videos on this channel and you will see this in that video. Right, so another knife here. These, you guys see, I got a few more knives. I didn't pull them all out, but these are all my favorite knives. And I didn't pull all of them out, all of my knives out. But I don't have a ton of knives. Some people got 50 or 100 knives. I have less than 20. That sounds like a lot, but it's really not for a knife nut. But this particular knife I want to move on to is a Jack Lore Classic. Now, this was given to me by my friend Sandy, who built this knife by hand years ago, 2014. So this was just over his 300th knife that he had built. He built quite a number of knives. Anyway, this one was 300 and something was the number, and he was having a difficulty with wood, getting wood back then for handle scales and for fire steel handles. And I believe that this is a white oak handle on this fire steel, and this is bird's eye maple on the handle scales, but brick red liners. And originally he just stamped the sheath here, and he did not stamp the dangler. So my dangler is unstamped. It's a Scandi, a full Scandi, and it was designed after the Ray Mears design. So Ray Mears did the original wood lore, which I had a wood lore and I sold it to a friend of mine. Thing is that the original wood lore is a cool knife, but it's so cool that you really just don't want to use it. So I would use it here and there. There we go again. I would use it here and there just for fun, just to use it because it's a wood lore, but I just didn't feel like I could just use it. You know, I really feel like you should just feel like you could just use a knife and not think too much about it, you know. Now I know Sandy would not want me to just have this in a drawer, which right now it is in a drawer, but I have used this knife. Okay, I've used it quite a bit, just for enjoyment and to remind me that I do have a friend in another country that's about as nuts as I am on doing stuff. This is leather, by the way. Yeah. Really nice knife. 4mm thick. The handle's a little thicker than the wood lure. I would like it a little bit thinner than it is, but you know, like I said, he had made just over 300 knives when he built this one, and it's perfect in every way. There's one thing with this handle scale here, which, you know, it's filled in with resin and then sanded down. You cannot tell that there was any issue there. Like I said, he was low on wood back then. He was having a really hard time getting good pieces of wood for knife scales, but it's really nice. It does not affect the knife at all. You know, it just looks like dark wood there. That one little line. But that makes it unique, you know. That says, hey, this is mine, you know. If I put this in a pile of knives all with bird's eyes handles, I would know, hey, that's my knife immediately. You see. And there's no issue with that. And I think he did this with Corby bolts. He made it extra strong for me because he knew that I would use it. Anyway, this was a gift from him, 2014. It's a kingly gift because these are expensive knives. And they are well worth it. You know, it's a knife that will last you a lifetime. Alright, I will come back and I will talk about some more knives. Okay, we'll talk about more knives and why I like them. Incidentally, the Scandi knife, for me, is a rare item to have. So, I think I really wanted one because back years ago, because Sandy's a friend, and I wanted something that when I use it, it reminds me of that friendship. But it's, you know, it's a great knife. We'll come back in another one. I'll see you there.